UAE stopped issuing visas to Nigeria around that time too. So President Tinubu has said that he will personally get involved in this matter to ensure that this dispute is resolved. So Idahosa Osamhanze is in the studio this morning, and he will be joining us to look at that. But before I bring him into the matter, let's also get some other details about the issue. Now, the UAE stopped issuing visas to Nigerians last year after Dubai's Emirates suspended flights due to an inability to repatriate funds from Nigeria. Now, the issue of repatriation of funds has been quite an issue, not just for the UAE, but for some businesses, foreign businesses that have investments in Nigeria. So because of that, they stopped issuing visas to Nigeria. Now, compounding the issue is the flight grounding dispute, and the Nigerian government asking that the UAE pay compensation for the losses that Nigeria incurred during that time. But the UAE has denied them any wrongdoing, and the Nigerian government is also considering taking legal actions against the UAE. But with the new ambassador who is in talks with President Bola Tinubu, the agreement between both of them is that they will work at this, resolve it as a family. So good morning, Idahosa Osamhanze. He is the Director, African Development Studies, Research and Policy, African Development Studies Center. This is a territory that you are very familiar with. Now, UAE and Nigeria over the years have had trade relations. In 2021, it was estimated that there was $1.5 billion worth of trade between Nigeria and the UAE. Nigeria exported $276 million worth of goods to the UAE, while the UAE exported $1.2 billion worth of goods to Nigeria. So these issues that tend to kind of make the trade relations not to go smoothly. But good enough, the ambassador says they will look into it. Nigerian president says he will personally get involved in the matter. What's your take?
Well, good morning, Blessing. Ayo, good morning. Morning, our dear viewers. I think it's a very welcome development. Last Thursday or Wednesday, Festus Keyamo said he had a matching order from the president to see that the frosty relationship between Emirates Airlines and Nigeria is resolved. And we knew that these issues came up as a result of the inability of the Emirates to be able to repatriate the ticket sales from Nigeria in dollars. Although the former president made some attempt and released some money, but of course the debt has not been cleared. And I think this is what actually the president spoke to when he said that, of course, United Arab Emirates and Nigeria are a family, and we are in the same house. And then, of course, our house, we just live in different rooms. And somehow, when you live in different rooms, and you can have some son or daughters who may be a truant, but what is important is that we do everything to see how we can bring order and brotherliness back again. And the response of the ambassador was quite also very, very enlightening when he said, oh, Nigeria, we are brothers. That for me, that familiar language speaks to readiness to do business together. That said, is to also emphasize that UAE has been a very friendly environment to Nigeria. And I think the issue of the visa ban may not have been unrelated with some crises that were associated with some Nigeria who were in the UAE, really not because of the Emirates crisis or the airpiece as put on the analysis. So a lot of things had happened that, of course, the portal of 19 African countries, including one Asian country, were suspended from entering UAE because of the security challenge. And one of the things that the UAE, they are proud of is the fact that it's one of the, they can pride and said Abu Dhabi is the safest city in the whole world. Now, that sense of security was being threatened. And of course, it is the duty of government to protect lives and property of its people. And I think those visa restrictions were just to regulate entry into the system so that they can clean up the entire space. I remember sometime in September, October last year, Nigeria had to evacuate some illegal immigrants who had no document entering into UAE. And this had been on for a while. We are hopeful that this will have to be restored now so that we can continue doing business. It's easier for Nigeria to get into UAE, and of course also because of proximity and the rest of it, we can actually get business here and also take business there. So I think a lot of Nigerians who are living in the UAE as residents will now heave some sigh of relief.
And I like the fact that President Tinubu is taking a personal stand and saying, okay, if he needs to intervene personally, he will do everything possible to restore smooth relationship between Nigeria and the UAE. For God's sake, for a country that we did trade worth $1.5 billion in 2021, we really can't, close our eyes to the possibilities, to the gains from that, and say because of a particular route in the airline sector, we should let things go down the drain. Now, this is where leadership, matters. The two countries now, via their leaders, via the ambassador from the UAE, then our own president here, they've shown strong leadership here, because at the end of the day, we're all brothers, like you said, though we're living under different, roofs. And one thing I like about the UAE is that it is a very organized climb. Things are not just done arbitrarily there. They are very intentional. With who they allow into their country, they're intentional. With who they shut the door against, they're intentional. With whom they trade with, they're intentional. And now, if they feel, okay, if our funds cannot be repatriated to our country, then we have a reason to say, okay, we're not doing trade. But now they are responding in kind to our own even kind gesture, and this is where we meet at the table of brotherliness and resolve issues. Because at the end of the day, we need one another to grow and to thrive. That's just how I see it.
We say welcome to Brother Shamsi to Nigeria, welcome. And we are really ready to cooperate and ensure that relationship between the United Arab Emirates and Nigeria is restored.
Okay, away from that, the Nigerian Air Force has reported the destruction of illegal refining sites in Rivers State, as well as the elimination of some terrorists through airstrikes in the northeast region. But the issue here is the destruction of illegal refining sites. Now, there's been some advocacy in some quarters that if we have illegal refining sites, it shows that there's the capacity to actually refine. Why not convert those illegal refining sites to legal refining sites? Perhaps put some investment into it to modernize and well organize the refining processes so that the product comes out in good quality rather than destroying the illegal refining site. What's your take on that, Idahosa?
Well, I think the issue is just more than refining petrol. It's the destruction and the damage that is done to the environment of the people of the Niger Delta that is very critical here. You see, one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is not just that the fact that people have capacity to do what they are doing. You see, by this illegal refining, you see the spillage is becoming more, and the environmental damage, the farmings and all things cannot happen. The acid rain in the Niger Delta is terrible. So this is as a result of illegal refining that is actually destroying the environment. And I think that's why, of course, government really need to take proactive step. A lot of people don't want to do things organized because organizing things can be very, very cumbersome. People want to take shortcuts. And I think that the Nigerian state, especially the governors and the security agencies in the South should be able to sit down and really work out strategy to see who are behind this refinery, because they are faceless. And
how do they even get the crude to refine?
This is the issue, because if you go to places like Patani, you go to places like Burutu, you see a little dig of the soil will get you crude, because it's so close to the surface. So how they get the crude is really not the issue, but you see the real issue is the fact the destruction that is happening to the environment of these people. Look, people who are hitherto lived on farming and, of course, fishery can no longer fish because of the activities of these people. And so this, for me, is what is more important, because the life of the people of the Niger Delta is more important than the economy of those who are doing legal refinery.
Okay, to try to answer what you asked, that why don't we encourage, why don't we invest more resources into refining? when some can do it illegally.
Converting them first to
I think illegality
refineries
cannot be, encouraged in any form. If you have a group of people that are refining illegally and we say, okay, let us convert what you have done and make it legal, it's just a call to others to start illegally first, because at the end of the day, they know that this will be upgraded to something legal. That is a way of condoning
maybe
illegality.
not exactly.
Maybe. Then you mentioned the fact that I don't think they are faceless. To the Nigerian law, maybe they are faceless. Google Map can pick you up right in your location.
Yeah.
We're talking about refineries.
Yeah, but you see, the identity of these people are not known, and I think this is it. And of course, this is where people also talk about the collaboration between some security agencies and these people that are in this business. You see, take for example, since Obasanjo regime, government has actually given licenses to people to do modular refineries. A lot of people have license to operate modular refineries in Nigeria. So that's all government can do. So if these people want to do things legally, they should take advantage of that window
and do it
and build a modular refinery so that they can harness their capabilities. But they are not really interested in doing these things. There's a whole lot of things that happen in Niger Delta that's actually corroding the environment. That's the point I'm speaking to. It's not the fact that, of course, they have technology. If you see what they are doing, the risk is massive.
Definitely.
The risk is massive. If you see where they are doing this thing and putting fire on this thing, a number of people have been killed by these illegal activities. So people are looking for a quick way to make money. And I think that's not the technology that should be encouraged, for as far as I'm concerned.
It's a very
not to mention the quality of the product at the end of the day.
At the end of the
day, very crude technology, and it's very cruel to human beings. It's not meant to be, condoned in any way at all.
Okay, lastly, let's take a look at the Minister of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy, who has the status of a core member. She's currently serving. And so there have been skepticisms over whether a member of the National Youth Service Corps should serve as minister in Nigeria. Well, in a personal statement, she's maintained that her appointment does not violate the law, stating that no law or constitution of Nigeria prevents a serving corps member from being appointed into political positions. Now, she also pointed that her current NYSC status will not hinder her role as a minister, as evidenced by legal precedents and her commitment to serving the country. Ayo, what's your take?
Really, I am not a lawyer. I would have loved to speak from the point of law. But I do know that you can, if it is not a political appointment, you cannot serve, you can be employed under the Nigerian system fully without having gone through NYSC in a particular context. But now we're talking about political appointment here. I have not really taken the time to study the constitution to see whether there is any provision there that says that, okay, you cannot, hold that office without having completed NYSC. But then those who come into public office should know that they cannot have any hidden corner in their lives. You weren't just picked one day and put it the next day. There was a process. You should have found out by yourself, because, like we know, you will be under public glare, and they will, fetch out every detail about you. How did you even scale, screening in the first place? So when you come into the public space to hold an appointment or a position, you should be ready. If you know that there is any hidden agenda somewhere, please come clean before the public, bring you out.
But this is not about hidden agenda. She's currently serving, so there is skepticism as to whether or not she can perform, whether she should even have been given the position. So it's not that it was hidden.
She was not hiding it. Okay. But then this was not made known to the public before people scrutinized her. That's just my point there.
Yeah, but I think just to speak to people for the future, especially young people, to understand that there are some certain basic things that the nation require of us to do. And trying to skip process really can bring a lot of baggages to people. And I think a lot of people should try as much as possible to avoid these kind of baggages, because what you do today can easily affect you tomorrow. There are a lot of windows that are there on NYSC. People can actually ask for exemption if you don't want to serve. And then, of course, you have a certificate. So these are not issues that we should be bringing to the public for conversation or talk about, because I don't think they are dignifying enough. So when you have opportunity, look at the windows, look at what is possible, rather than do damage control, which, of course, is not the best for us as a people.
But issues like this does set precedents, because it will be a reference in the future for some other positions and for some other persons who may be serving core members and then disqualified from certain rules because they're currently serving, and then they want to point to that and say, it happened with this person, so why should it not happen for me? But like she said, it's not going to deter her from performing. So I think the public should give that benefit of the doubt and just let it be if she has been appointed as a serving minister.